I can probably get this in 2 or 3 more segments. I think that's where we land right now. Oh, for fuck's sake, even. This is, I mean, this is the most obvious display of misogyny, white privilege, and just gaslighting of a woman activist in the movement that I don't even know what to say. I feel incredibly sorry for his wife that she has entered this arrangement. I trusted him. All right, let's go. Let's do more. Let's try and get this. It's an hour and like 8 minutes long, y'all. I think we have close to 30 minutes left. Let's see. Let's see where we land. It says we're at 49:42. Okay, so we got like 20, a little less than 20 minutes left, you guys. Let's try it. Let's try and power through.
Lifting everyone up, we're never going to get through the glass ceiling. And all you're really trying to do, AOC is a good example of this. I tried to do it with Canova first. Basically, you have this glass ceiling. I know it's just like the glass ceiling that women deal with, so it's easy to visualize, but I do not want to diminish that women have an.
This man cannot speak for women. Not ever, ever, ever. He cannot speak for women. I don't care if he comes up with clever little fucking bylines for women. This man cannot speak for women. He is one of the most abusive motherfuckers, verbally abusive. Don, I don't know about your sexual abuse. Other people claim that you have been sexually abusive. I can't confirm or deny. But I can tell you that you want to fuck your way through the movement. You cheat on your wife and you were horribly abusive to me. And this is a gigantic display of it.
Extra one that they also have to deal with in addition to this. So really keep that in mind when you want to talk about fairness as a man, even as a non-binary penis carrier. Okay, the truth is that women have this extra layer that's got to be annoying. So, but we're going to talk about this first in context of the glass ceiling. Now, the glass ceiling is the same idea, but for the grassroots. So you're not famous. Capitalism hasn't honored you with a blue check mark on Twitter. No one knows who you are. You have like what 1,200 followers if you're lucky, probably under 500. You're basically trying to lift up one person. You're trying to all come together like a giant pyramid, stack on each other, and just throw one person, and just throw one person through the ceiling. And you get one person through. And that person hopefully goes to Congress. And that's the game. That's the whole game. You're just trying to everyone builds their strength up and just flings that one person through. And that can come in a lot of forms. It can come in just sharing someone's posts en masse. It can come in making lots of comments. Comments are really good, guys. And I really want to say this. If you are a regular watcher on my show, oh, wow. I really want you to please consider making comments and engaging on my posts because that's what else people see them. The more you comment, the more engagement you have. And if you're in my like top, I don't know, let's say 15 commenters right now. I got 7 right now, but I hold 10 pretty consistently. Never more than 15, really. I think people just, he's got enough. I'm out of here. And I'll probably start giving people free Patreon memberships so that we can get that community rolling. There's also a Discord server and a bunch of other things that are all built out, ready to go, which is why it's very discouraging to have to deal with this extra level of bullshit when we should be talking about positive organizing. So, Leahy went way too far tonight. Doxing me that way is really inappropriate. It's extra inappropriate to dox me directly to the person who is basic.
Not only does this guy not show up to anything, and when he does show up, he shows up late. He's tearing down the organizers who actually do show up. I do more in LA County than he fucking does. And I don't get along with the same people he doesn't get along with. But he still can't figure out how to actually get off his fat ass and do something. This dude is entirely internet addicted and addicted to many other things as well. But this is some bullshit.
Basically, I'm saying this person is stalking me. So, like, if I am saying this person is stalking me, that should be honored. That should be respected. Like, you don't know what's going on. You don't know. You have no idea. I'm not showing up trying. I've had her address the whole time because she has a townhouse in Orange County. I don't need to go there. I want nothing. I want nothing to do with her.
That was nice of you to drop that, Don. That was really cool.
I never wanted to do this video. I never wanted to talk about this. After we went to the first trip, I was like, holy shit, probably shouldn't have gone on that trip at all, especially with the car accident and all the stuff that went
Oh, yeah. You wanted to go on a second trip with me to San Francisco. Okay.
wrong there. And then but some really good things did happen. I mean, some really good things happened. So, and if you were on that trip, thank you, by the way. But when I should have known, and I should have done things differently, and and it all comes down to also, like, I shouldn't have blown up. I shouldn't have lost my cool in this last round. I should have just let it go. But I don't understand why.
You're right. You shouldn't have blown up at any point. You've had so many screaming fits at the women around you. You shouldn't have blown up. And you shouldn't have done this video. This is fucking pathetic. You're a pathetic man. And you try and manipulate people by saying you're non-binary. But you use toxic masculinity against women constantly. Constantly.
I have to let it go, or else the person tries to ruin my entire credibility with strangers. Like, I don't understand where we went from, because even if she is not, let's say hypothetically, not making a claim that whatever, which she has backtracked on, right? So she's not making that claim right now, even though it's out there. She said it, so it's out there.
I never fucking said it. Dawn, stop telling people that I fucking said this. You totally made this up in 2019. And you circulate it out every time that you're trying to distract people from your bullshit that you do on social media, because you constantly are having meltdowns.
She's still actively telling people that I'm a sexual predator. She is still actively going to women and telling them that I cannot be trusted. She is still going out there and misrepresenting herself as a victim of Me Too, when she has made no mention in any of our messages and all the thing was today, and all my little things on the message, at no point in any of the messages did she say she was a victim. She acted like a victim. She had a claim, because she's talking to new people now, and she has to.
Because I have literally never said this. I have never said that I'm a Me Too victim of Don Ford. What I've said is that he's one of these jackass dudes who's sexually aggressive. It was a consensual situation, but he was rough with me. He was rough with me. He enacted like a rape fantasy with me. He was rough with me, but it was a consensual situation. I was on board. And when I did say no, Dawn, you stopped doing what you were doing. But you did actually, like, put me in that position without asking. Okay? But I have not called you a sexual predator, even despite the fact that you actually put me in that position without asking. God, you're so horrible.
Oh no, I'm not saying this. This isn't happening. She's backpedaling. Because when you're actually put on the spot in a public way, that's what people do. They backpedal. And it's sort of like, don't do things that you have to backpedal on. Like, how complicated is that for people? Just don't do it. So it really comes back down to, okay, we're back up. Sorry about that. I gotta remember my sound doesn't cut out. Just my video every, like, I don't know, my timer's not running, so I'm not sure how long I'm talking for. What the hell was I saying?
You want to talk about how I took you to Disney World? You want to talk about how I took you to Disney World? You had a Zoom with your daughter, and she started crying because you were in front of Cinderella's castle at the Magic Kingdom. And then you took it out on me that night. You want to talk about the times that you had bad Zooms with your daughter and you took it out on me, screamed at me, abused me. Do you want to talk about that, Dawn? You want to fucking talk about that?
You know, you shouldn't have to say things you have to backtrack on. And the fact that I have Twitter posts of her doing it in the past 24 hours is enough. I took my screenshots. I can't see what she's saying, but I can see how people are responding to her, and I can watch a brand new smear campaign start up at the exact same time. Now, luckily, I got tons of evidence for tons of things. I got tons of evidence showing that Canova's bullshit. I got tons.
Smears are untruths. What I have put forward is the fucking truth. This is not a smear campaign, Dawn. This is the fucking truth. You have to deal with it. If you're going to be abusive to people, we're not going to be silent about it.
Tons of evidence showing that I delivered AOC strategy. I got tons of evidence of all kinds of things, even Medicare for All. I have the first Medicare for All strategy. I showed to people. It's in phase 3 on my pin post at the very, 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 very bottom. So I really feel like people don't do their homework when they come at me with this. And now, of course, it is 2017. And yes, Medicare for All has existed before that. But when it...
Oh, I wanted to address this and I totally forgot. So the first few days that I was on the road trip with him, he was doing this slur bullshit where it was really difficult to understand what he was trying to say to me. And so he kept yelling at me saying, because I was like asking him to repeat himself because I couldn't understand what he was talking about. And he was screaming at me for doing that. And then about 3 or 4 days in, somebody else told him that he was doing it too. And so he apologized to me because he said, all right, I got some feedback from somebody else that, yeah, in fact, I'm not speaking intelligibly enough. Yeah, he was actually super abusive to me before he even grabbed me and kissed me in Louisiana, because that happened like a week into the trip. And the entire time I was with him, he was purposely slurring his words, making it difficult for me to understand him and creating contentious situations where we would be fighting. He did this the whole fucking trip, you guys. He's got something. I think he stated that he hit himself in the head when he was doing his fire dancing shit in Venice. And there's something really off about this dude. He needs serious therapy and he won't seek it. And apparently his wife won't make him get it. There's something seriously fucking off with this dude.
Came to restarting this wave of it. You can even go to the comments of that post and people like Nina Turner, in that strategy post, it's March, I think, and I had come up with it in middle of January. And so Nina had just accepted it. I mean, at this point, I wasn't even doing live streams standing down. I was doing live streams like walking around my apartment like a lunatic. Like I didn't have, I mean, not to say I'm not being a lunatic right now. I'm just saying I was walking around like a lunatic. And so, you know, it is a totally different. But the whole point was we needed something to keep the movement going because everyone was like, the movement's over, blah, 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 blah. And Bernie wasn't doing anything because he thought it was over because movements usually don't persist. So when Trump's healthcare failed, I made a bunch of posts about how, you know, this, and I just been to 32 states meeting all the delegates. You gotta remember, guys, that's the other thing that people do not quite understand because they believe this lie from these people.
Okay, let's talk about how he travels. Heather Adams, you have been enabling him. You have been hooking him up with lodging. You have been the one hooking him up with lodging. You're the one with the connections. You are the person in the movement who has been enabling this motherfucker. Okay? He does not have these connections himself. He is constantly using women and he is using you. Please stop helping this motherfucker.
In LA that I didn't go and interview these people and I didn't actually do this stuff and I'm not sitting on the documentary. It's right here. I mean, it's right here. It's literally right here. It's literally right here. It's an old drive. I checked it just the other day.
That's fantastic, Don. Then get off your fucking ass and start editing it and make it into something. Nobody's going to fucking wait for your bullshit anymore. If you think that you can make a documentary, make it. Fucking make it.
There it is. That's the drive. Has the little Velcro from being on the road. I shouldn't move it around too much, even though it is a solid state. I have it backed up on another drive. Not complicated. I am under no obligation to release anything because when you're doing a follow-up documentary, not to mention, number one, this is like ultimate intel on our people. So like,
we are 5 fucking years out, you goddamn flake. If you, he states that he took $20,000 in donations to make this documentary. We are 5 fucking years out, you fucking flake. Make the goddamn documentary.
Why would I want to put that out publicly while we're still gaining power? I kind of want to gain more of a foothold before I start telling people our secrets. Not to mention,
excuses.
you know, I had to really let people act poorly. Like, I mean, you got to remember, this came with a stack of releases. The stack of releases is the real powerful thing, not the video. Because the releases, I can create anything. Like, the releases are super vague. I didn't intend for them to be super vague. We just were in a rush, and no one really read them. But it's basically a total use of likeness in any fashion with no limits, anything you create.
Literally, even Lily Starling has called him out and said, put out the fucking documentary. She dropped this in our internal chat because she was part of our internal circle. She has even called on him, just fucking release the documentary. It's 5 years out, Don. You took $20,000 from people back in 2016 to fucking make this documentary. Fucking make it. Stop being a goddamn flake. Get off your ass and do some goddamn work.
And there's no timeline on when I have to release it or on how long this goes for. It's a perpetuity. So I didn't intend for it to be that way when I started, but that's where we ended up. And keep in mind, when you say something on social media, it's a public place. So it is automatically, it can be screenshotted and put into anything. And we have watched documentaries that are literally just stacks of screenshots. I'm not going to do that. We'll do something more interesting. But when it's done, you'll enjoy it or hate me or both. Who knows? I don't even know yet. I have no idea what the ending is. I've gone through so many phases of what the movie's going to be about and what the story I'm going to tell us. But the story keeps changing because things keep happening. And then when the smears against me really started really intensely, you know, it was hard not to let it ride a little. You know what I mean? Like, there's a saying in politics in Florida, and there's a lot of sayings actually, but there's this important saying, and that's that the hardest part is getting people to know your name. And once they know your name, you can really do anything with it. It's tricky, unless you're a sexual fucking predator. So that is definitely not in the realm of we can still do anything. I know I'm drinking Coke. I'm not drinking because I'm trying not to drink because it's apparently bad for you.
Huh.
So that's kind of the whole thing. There's not really a lot more to it. I do live stream a lot, but I'm kind of private about my personal life. Like, I do talk about this stuff, but I don't talk about this stuff. Like, I don't talk about what's going on with my daughters. I don't talk about what's going on with my Japan. I don't talk about my family. I don't talk about any of that stuff. I talk about politics, and I'm here to move on that. So when somebody has to, when someone has to dox and threaten your family, because that's what Robert did tonight. Robert threatened my family.
Okay, we're gonna pause here and then I'll do the it's like 7 minutes left or something. It's 8 minutes, it's like 8 minutes left. There's like 8 minutes left. So I'll do that in the next segment. But look at this motherfucker. Look at this motherfucker. I can't even with him. All right, hold up. I can't even with you, Dawn. For fuck's sake. This guy is so full of shit, and he just has taken advantage of opportunities. He told me he has like a grandfather or something. I don't think this person is alive anymore, but he had a grandfather that was like a traveling salesman, and that he really learned a lot of life lessons from that story of his grandfather doing traveling salesmanship. I'll be real with you, my ex-husband told me the same bullshit. This is something dudes do, that they're like, well, it's just in the nature of my blood to cheat on my women. This is like something that dudes do. This is something that dudes do. But yeah, he collected something like $20,000 back in like 2016 to make this documentary, and he's been sitting on his ass, not doing a damn thing. And when we went on the road, he told me straight up that we had two purposes. We had two things that we were supposed to accomplish on that trip. One was that we were supposed to get content for his documentary, like follow-up content. The second was that we were supposed to be getting evergreen content for Carrie Harrison, who does like, he does some progressive radio programs for like KPFK, and he's syndicated nationally. So these were the things that we were supposed to be doing on this trip. And that lazy motherfucker never made any live streams while we were on the goddamn trip, because he was getting high the whole time and just acting like a complete asshole who was trying to court me into a fling. It was the most messed up situation ever. Anyway, I got to take a break here, and then I will finish up the last 8 minutes of this fucking hour plus long roast of me on a Friday night when he should have been spending time with his wife and his baby. I can't even with this dude.